Hey, how we doing, everybody? Uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to go on. I'm gonna have to be going on late on nights that I work. So I do apologize to those of you who catch the replay and have to be on or just they have to catch the replay only because I come on so late. So I do apologize for that because I do love it when there are people in my chat and and when they're having a good time interacting with everyone else that's in the chat. So I really, really enjoy seeing that. What's up, Soul for Music 79? Rosalind. I am doing well. Thank you for asking, Rosalind. I hope you're doing well also. Um, so yeah, uh I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. We uh Us YouTubers, I've talked about this before. It's something that I'm gonna always clear up. I'm gonna always be very, very clear about it. Yeah, I just now logged on Soul for Music. So I want to be very clear. We're laymen's, us YouTubers. We're very few of us are actual professionals. And but make no mistake, like my personal reasons for exploring things that there are professionals um that actually specialize in these areas. I do understand that, but there are so many of us who are not educated in these fields, and we take a very strong interest in these things. um and a lot of the times, mostly what we do is uh many of us don't even really look too deeply into these things as far as research. It's not our job to do that, so we make observations. um and Hey, Diane in Pennsylvania. I we make observations, and we explore those observations. So I want to be very clear about that I'm 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 very much a layman. I don't have much of an education. But there are things that uh I find very interesting. And I talk we're part of a true crime community, many of us. uh I don't cover a lot of true crime. I prefer to explore the behavior involved in true crime cases, and talk about that stuff. And I like to talk about it with people who are also not necessarily very well educated. I like to talk to educated people on these things. I like to learn new things, most definitely. But what I'm saying is, uh, I enjoy having this platform to just explore and discuss um, people with regular educations, or little education, that uh, are still nonetheless very intelligent, and have or have the desire to understand these things a little bit better by looking into it our own way. So I like to be able to come on here and do that stuff. So and there's no real reason behind me uh discussing this. It was never addressed to me. There was nothing like that. I haven't had any interactions with anybody about it. It's just something I was thinking about, and I thought I would share it and discuss it, kind of out loud here. So, so having said that, we do also have to be very careful that we don't act like we know everything, because we don't. What makes this okay with me morally and ethically is the fact that I am fully aware of the fact that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I like to look into these things, and I like to think about them, and I think we all do, to a certain degree. And there are those who are very well educated in this field and specialize in this field, and I would love to talk with people who are. But what's up, Save Robbie? Being there, Tiffany Marie. So I like to be able to do that, and I like to give other people, like-minded people, a place to do that. So so thanks to everybody who comes on here and has that understanding and enjoys this. This is just entertainment, guys. This is here. This is for to entertain me and to entertain you. I'm not here necessarily trying to educate anyone. I'm just here having a nice time, and I hope that everybody else who's subscribed to me and joins these chats is having a good time too. So yeah, I just wanted to say that and express my gratitude for everybody who does indulge me in this manner and allows me to indulge them. What's up, Lufa? Double Mike, what's happening, brother? Um, right, soul for music. You're right about that. There are creators. I mean, um, in order to go live, you have to have a certain. First of all, you have to have the right equipment. Some people don't have computers at home. Some people just have uh phones, and YouTube does not allow you to go live from your phone until you've reached 1,000 subscribers. So uh, I have a laptop here, which is why I've been able to go live, and it's I've been doing this since I got this laptop, actually. um, well, since I got it back. It wasn't in my possession for a while, and then I got it back. But yeah, you may not even have the means. I don't think you can go live unless it's from a computer until you have 1,000 subscribers. So and you have to build that up. It takes a while. And but yeah, needless to say, there are very I've talked to some pretty borderline, if not brilliant people, that and I should just say brilliant, absolutely brilliant, because um brilliance isn't just a measure, in my opinion. It's not just a measure of someone's intelligence. I think that brilliant means exactly that. Like when you see a constellation of stars in the sky, or many, on a very dark night, or in a very poorly lit area, but like the woods or the mountains, and you can see the sky and see all the stars that are in the sky when you don't have all the light coming from the ground blocking that view. That's a brilliant sight. So brilliant in that sense, and I think there's a lot of creators here on YouTube that are brilliant, and they might not just have the means to to go live. So they just make videos, and very creative videos. I can't make a video for the life of me. I don't have the patience or the attention span to sit there and go through all the editing. I've tried it. Maybe I could, maybe, but there's so many creators out there that are capable of doing this and have the creativity and have this vision of what they want to put out there, and they do it, and it's really, really great. This place is great in that sense. You can you can research anything on YouTube at this point. It's basically like having a library at your fingertips, uh, but a video library, which is amazing. When you think about it, if you're my age or older, you remember a time where if someone would have told you that this was what was happening, you would have been like, not, no, not in my lifetime, probably not in my lifetime. And here we are. So it's pretty great. And I really, really enjoy that. um, and moving on, yesterday and last night, I went live twice, and I went over a video about showing a woman who was yelling and screaming at Walmart, and clearly very, very irrational behavior. And we explored why, what was behind that. We're again, none of us are psychologists or psychiatrists. Um, uh, and Sorry, 1 second. None of us are psychologists or psychiatrists or trained professionals in mental health. Um, but and if there haven't been any in my chat. So so we just basically were just kind of trying to understand what was driving this woman, because I saw something more than just something funny. I like to try to understand why, and I had a good time with you guys doing that. And so I'm gonna do that a little bit more tonight, just as an experiment. Um, this this video that I'm gonna show you is it's very, very funny to me. I laugh really the first time I saw it, and it was the kind of video that I would play over and over again and laugh at. And hey, what's up, Willow? What's up, Shannon, Cassie? Yeah, I I would watch this, and I would laugh hysterically. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show it to you guys, and we can laugh at it, but we're gonna also try to break it down a little bit, which I've never actually done before, so I don't know how that's gonna go. I've never tried to break that down, but okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and then we're gonna see. Oh, wait. Let me do this again. Okay, because I have to share the audio. All right. I think that's what I did wrong yesterday during the day. Okay, so here we go.
What's your name?
My name? Oh, let me tell you my name. I'm confused because, like we're supposed to believe in the ministry, right? So is the church and state supposed to be separate? I'm confused because I never went to school, right? Is a confused person get a resolution?
Okay, hold on a second. This guy just goes right into his rant. She's just interviewing people randomly on the street for whatever reason, and I don't know, but I'm gonna start that from the beginning again. Because this guy's immediate answer, like he sees a camera and a mic and an opportunity.
What's your name?
My name? Oh, let me tell you my name. I'm confused because, like we're supposed to believe in the ministry, right? So all
right, so here we go. We're seeing a pattern here, right? And I talked about this a little bit yesterday. We're seeing a pattern here where somebody brings in the church somehow or another. The church is involved in their delusions, but I'll just keep going here.
Church and state's supposed to be separate. I'm confused because I never went to school, right? Is a confused person get a resolution? I don't understand. You see, when you go like that, right, you have a cross, 2 sticks, right? And that's how I felt when I was in Waterloo. Because when I walked in Waterloo and smiled at people, they treated me like a vampire. They used the cross and they went like this by not smiling at me. In Toronto, hey, hi guys, you know me, Steve Spiros, easygoing. Those who know me I'm a nobody. You understand? And you can't kill a person with no body. So why am I afraid? I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of the boogeyman. Who's the boogeyman? You figure it out. I'm getting out of here. I'm going back to Waterloo where the vampires hang out. And I'm going to wear my sunglasses at night. You know why? Because women show their tits, have short skirts, and then they feel violated when I look at them. Why? Because I have sunglasses on. And I'm from Humberside. I'm sorry if I made a fool of Humberside, but all those people who called me a sleepwalker, I woke up. Now I'm going back to sleep because I'm going to be committed in an isolation room because I'm going to go back to the ministry and allow them to perceive me as I am. A fuck up. Goodbye. Hey, Toronto the Good.
Wow.
Look at this square. It was a shithole when I worked. Now it looks like New York, Manhattan. Where are the bums? There's no bums here. Toronto doesn't have bums. But Waterloo, they're creating bums. They created me. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the church. Talk to the Pope. He knows everything. I had it. I'm gonna die. How can you die when you're dead? Oh, wait a second. I'm going to be crucified, right? I'm not going to raise my voice.
What?
Because I'm Lord.
Okay.
I love you.
All right. So I'm going to.
What's your name?
My name? Oh, let me tell you my.
Okay. Well so. All right. Yeah, I got to look at the chat here a little bit because, yeah, I want to see what people's reaction to this was. That's one of my all-time favorite internet videos, by the way. I find that one really, really interesting, but really hilarious at the same time. And sorry, I'm looking at the chat here. Yeah, so the reporter, we're gonna look at that again because the reporter has this very, very interesting reaction to it. She just keeps going, and she tries really hard not to laugh, but you could tell at no point she was scared. I didn't see fear. A little confusion maybe, but not fear. I didn't see that, and that was interesting to me. And yeah, I think I think he might have a little pathology going on there, Willow, possibly. But I mean, again, none of us here are professionals. We just like to look at these things. I mean, I look at it whenever I look at a true crime case, like I see things like this. This is kind of why I wanted to talk about this, because I don't know if this happens to anybody else here, but when I look at a true crime case, because I look at so many true crime cases, and try to understand what was going on, I take that shit to everything else. Like it's almost a compulsion. So now I take that shit to stuff like this, and I try to understand what is going on here, and what's happening with this guy. But there's no way to there's no way to diagnose somebody. I don't think. I mean, it was one of those things where even there were people. I remember when the Chris Watts thing first happened, right? There were people who were they were all of a sudden they were mental health professionals. It was the most annoying fucking thing I ever heard of in my life. And I started off in this Facebook group following that case, and there was like thousands of members of this group. And that was the biggest thing. Everybody was an expert. And I'd be like, listen, you guys don't know anything yet. So you can't just start dropping, diagnoses like crazy because you don't know shit. And you can't diagnose somebody by watching them in videos. You have to like you have to sit and talk with the person. You have to study their behavior for a while. You can guess, but you can't sit here and be like that's what he is, because you don't know. There's no way for you to know. Even a professional couldn't know. Not definitively. There's no way. So I would get really really irritated with that, and I would get into these arguments with people. There's actually a YouTube creator. I'm not going to say her name, but uh she has thousands of subscribers, and uh she talks a lot about narcissism. And I remember her talking about Chris Watts being a narcissist from the beginning without knowing anything. And I called bullshit on her. And I mean, I'm not trying to start any shit with any YouTube creators. You know what I'm saying? This isn't somebody within this community directly. So it's just somebody that I've seen and I've heard people mention, and then I'm like, and then somebody pointed it out, was like, that's the girl from the group who you had this crazy rivalry with, because she was obsessively trying to get me kicked out. She kept private messaging the other admins, and I was an admin, and she kept obsessing over having me booted from the group. And booted from the no, it's not her. It's not her being there. She was obsessed with having me booted from the group, and she kept hinting towards being made an admin. She was dying to be made an admin of this group, which I found really really weird. I've never ever pushed myself to be an admin of any group. I've become admins of groups because people have asked me to be admins of groups, and most of the time I don't want to do it necessarily. Because if anybody here belongs to Facebook groups, most Facebook groups, they're usually a bunch of shit shows. The true crime groups are always fucking crazy. And why are they fucking crazy? Because people are in them who think and act like they're experts, but they're not experts by any means whatsoever. And then I end up getting in arguments with people like this. And then there's other people like me who end up getting into arguments with people like this. And my argument never changes. I'm like, you don't know anything. You cannot sit here and make these diagnoses of someone without it's not realistic. And if you were a real professional, if you're trying to get me to be convinced that you're a professional, then you would know that. Why do I know that and you don't? And you're the professional. So, that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, and I appreciate that soul for music. I'm not trying to get into a whole was Chris Watts a narcissist thing or not, which is a conversation. I just don't want to do it right now, but I so this person, yeah, and I was known for like making memes in these groups. And that's what I would do. When I'm an admin of a group, I rarely I'm not going to boot you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just outwit you, and I'm going to make fun of you. That's what I'm going to do. If you're acting like an irrational asshole and treating other people like shit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use that group and use comments and make memes and drop gifs or gifs, whatever, however you say it. And I'm gonna make you see what type of an asshole you're acting like. So that's what I used to do, and it was fun. And it was fun for everyone else except for the person who was there to be a dick. So and this girl was like that. And she and it's so funny. She went on to create a YouTube channel and do very, very well at it. But this person in this group was an irrational, crazy person, which it's just funny to see that. Um, but uh, my group is different. My group is it's funny. After that group, I kind of made my group just as a fuck you to any other groups, because I was like, that shit's not gonna, I can make a group and that shit's not gonna go on. Not in my group. You know, I only want to attract rational, fun people. And that's what I've done with my group. Although it's very small, there's not even 300 people in it, but uh it's a very small group, and it's where you can pretty much discuss anything. And there's never been any drama in it. For a long time I wasn't even active in it, and Shannon here, she kept it going. She kept it going forever. But I get annoyed with groups because there's always these people who swear they know everything. uh and and it's okay to not know anything. It's okay to be interested in something and not really know anything about it. You don't have to act like you know everything about something when you don't. It's okay to just simply take an interest in it. um you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a layman. uh I enjoy it because I'm open to any new knowledge. So, and you know, I always want to learn something more. Um, but it blows my mind when I see people who all of a sudden just get super. Uh, what's up, Doodlebug? Mabel Stardust, what's happening? Um, Stefani. I'm not even sure if it's just Stephanie and it's just spelled like Stefani, but I'm just gonna call you Stefani just because of the way it's spelled. Um, yeah. So it's, you know, if you're one of those people, you know, I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just saying, if you're one of those people, you know, privately, it's between you and me, it's totally okay to not really know anything about something. And still be very interested in it. But if you're genuinely interested in something, listen. Listen to somebody else. Listen to somebody who does know something about it. You know, educate yourself. Uh yeah. I say this all the time, Copper Star. Uh I actually, like, word for word, what I normally say is, hey, talk to me like I'm stupid. Explain that to me like I'm stupid, because in a lot of ways I am. I'm fully aware of this. So yeah, I've always had a learning disability. I've always had ADHD. Um, so I, uh, I definitely, you know, I have to teach myself to learn things a little differently than most people. But nevertheless, I do have a desire to learn. So I try to make it a point to not talk about something like I'm an expert in something when I'm actually not. I can explore thoughts and spit out things in theory, sure, but I don't know. um, so what's up, the Finn? So yeah, man, it's totally cool. Uh, it's totally cool to not know what the fuck you're talking about. You know, just listen. All right.
What's your name?
My name? Oh, let me tell you my name. I'm confused because, like we're supposed to believe in the ministry, right? So is the church and state supposed to be separate? I'm confused because I never went to school, right? Is a confused person get a resolution? I don't understand. You see, when you go like that, right, you have a cross. Right?
So
And that's how
right there, I laugh because this girl right now, what's going through her mind is like, what the fuck just happened? Like at first she was just kind of looking at him and nodding, like, uh-huh, yeah, just kind of wondering where he was going. And now it's hitting her that this guy is not all there. So I'm watching her reaction, which I this is really fun to me.
I felt when I was in Waterloo. Because when I walked in Waterloo and smiled at people, they treated me like a vampire. They used the cross and they went like this by not smiling at me. In Toronto, hey, hi guys, you know me, Steve Spiros, easygoing. Those who know me,
She totally just looked
I'm
at
a
the camera
nobody.
like, what the fuck do I do right now? I don't know what to do. Do I just keep letting him talk? Do I ask him a question? And I think obviously what she does here is she just lets him, she lets it ride out. She lets this man just go on, just hoping that he'll diffuse himself and walk away on his own recognizance. I think that she handled this absolutely perfectly. Like she did what I was talking about yesterday. You remember I was talking about this lady. I was surprised how the lady at Walmart, no one humored her. No one just sat there and went, all right, okay, sure, yeah. I wonder if that would have made a difference. So it's interesting to watch this woman do exactly that pretty much. And I just wish I knew what happened after this interview, but it seems to me like he just went about his the rest of his day.
You understand? And you can't kill a person with no body. So why am I afraid? I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of the boogeyman. Who's the boogeyman? You figure it out. I'm getting out of here. I'm going back to Waterloo where the vampires hang out. And I'm going to wear
She's trying not to laugh.
You know what? Women show their tits.
So at this point, she's just like, this is just funny. But now realize this is again the same thing that fascinated me about yesterday's video is fascinating me here. This person is behaving totally irrational. Now he's not even remotely as aggressive as the Walmart lady, but he's definitely not not mentally stable, it's fair to say. And she I'm tripping out on the fact that she doesn't feel threatened by this man at all. She's she thinks it's funny, but I feel like she just wants to see where he's going with it. She's kind of got an open mind about it, but she's finding the humor in it. That's for sure.
It's short skirts, and then they feel violated when I look at them. Why? Because I have sunglasses on and I'm weird. I'm from Humberside. I'm sorry if I made a fool of Humberside, but all those people who called me a sleepwalker, I woke up. Now I'm going back to sleep because I'm going to be committed in an isolation room. Because
like I just keep looking at the girl doing the interview.
And allow them to perceive me as I am, a fuck up. Goodbye. Hey, Toronto's good. Look at this square.
She's composing herself so well. It's so funny to me how well composed she is. She's not in the slightest bit afraid. She's not she might be a little uncomfortable, but I think it's mostly just she thinks it's funny. She thinks the guy's kind of endearing in a sort of way, in a weird way. You know, she just thinks he's a funny, nice guy off the street.
Shithole when I worked here. Now it looks like New York, Manhattan. Where are the bums? There's no bums here. Toronto doesn't have bums. But Waterloo, they're creating bums. They created me. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the church. Talk to the Pope. He knows everything. I had it. I'm gonna die. How can you die when you're dead? Oh, wait a second. I'm gonna be crucified, right?
Thank you, Soul for Music. Holy shit. Oh man. So her face to me, her face is priceless. Now does anybody else feel like that's totally fascinating, that nobody so far, like from these videos that we're watching of people just completely just losing their shit in public, right? Nobody feels threatened by them at all. Nobody's afraid. Nobody's running. Now obviously this guy, he's not being like, he's not, you know, being aggressive in any way, but the lady yesterday was definitely being aggressive, and the natural response from her environment, the natural response from people in her environment was to actually crowd her and contain her, not run away from her. So I find that you know, it's not just the person in the video's behavior that the video's about that I find really interesting, but it's that person's surroundings and the behavior surrounding that person. It's very, very fascinating to me. Now, obviously, again, this is not very close of a comparison, obviously, because the behavior is much different. And this guy's out on the street. Walmart, it's an indoor, it's a safe place. You know what I mean? It's so it's very, very strange to me that they still, people tend to just not feel in any way threatened by this behavior at all. That girl just kind of laughed, and she even continued making eye contact with him as he was talking. She seemed to just like the guy. So you know, I mean, but this is obviously somebody who I don't think the difference is I think that the woman from yesterday, the Walmart woman, I think that she was definitely under a drug induced, a narcotic induced psychosis. But I don't think that was the case with this gentleman. I think that this guy just has an imbalance of some sort. But I wonder what does religion, why does religion always seem to be the theme with behaviors like this, with public breakdowns? Like, why is that always the thing? Is it because it's I wonder if it has something to do with them thinking so deeply about it, to the point to where it drives them to this point. They just go down too deep of a rabbit hole in thought regarding our mortality and what happens to us beyond. I can see that happening. I can see not having any answers and feeling like you're on a path towards it, but still not having any definitive answers can be something that somebody could obsess on and get frustrated over. Someone who's irrational and someone who has a not so quick of a or not so strong of a disposition. I think that's I wonder if that's a case. It could just be that it's an excuse for them to it could just mean that it's an excuse for them to justify their irrational their need to just blow up irrationally. And that's some sort of way of justifying yelling at people and lashing out at people verbally. It's yeah, I wonder about that. And it's yeah, I all I can think about right now is what happened to this guy afterwards. um you know uh i'm gonna go ahead and play another video, a very popular video. I wanted Misery to do this because it's an actual case, because I think he would actually, it's just something that's right up his alley, and I suggested it to one of his mods. But I'm gonna look for this video real quick. um and and you guys have seen this, but there's something very interesting about it. There's a very interesting story to follow. um all right, so you guys have probably seen this before, but this is a little different. This is going to take a lot of speculation here.
One of the heroes.
Yeah. Can we talk to you? Mind?
What do you want to talk about?
What happened today?
Well, went straight out of Dogtown, skateboarding, surfing it up. Before I say anything else, I want to say no matter what you've done, you deserve respect. Even if you make mistakes, you're lovable. And it doesn't matter your look, skills, or age, or size, or anything, you're worthwhile. No one can ever take that away from you. Now, this stuff right here, I was driving and I was in the passenger side of this car, and he comes over on there. He was over by the recycling center. He says, "Oh, when I was in the Virgin Islands, 30 years old on a business trip, I this 14-year-old." I was like, "You what?" He's like, "I raped this 14-year-old." Starts crying, gives me a big hug. He's like 300-pound guy. I'm like, "Oh shit, you must be man. Like, what's he talking about?" I didn't take him seriously at first. He comes driving down this way. He's like, "You know what? I come to Jesus Christ, and I can do anything I want to." And watch this, bam, and he smashed into this guy right there, pinned him in between that truck. And so I hop out. I look over, the guy's pinned there. I mean, like, freight train riders know this. Like, if you get pinned between something, do not move that shit, otherwise you bleed out. Like, motherfucker, I ran in, I grabbed the keys. He's sitting there like nothing even happened. And like, man, if you started driving that car around again, man, there would have been a hell of a lot of bodies around here. I hop on out, and so I grabbed the bag, I threw it over by that pole right there, and then buddy gets out, and these two women are trying to help him. He runs up and he grabs one of them, man. Like, a guy that big can snap a woman's neck like a pencil stick. So I ran up behind him with a hatchet, smash, smash, smash. Yeah.
The lady said you saved your life.
She was the one who got grabbed by that fucker. You know what? Is cool. That guy ain't. Shit.
How'd you get in his car? How did you?
I was hitchhiking. Good thing I was hitchhiking. Yeah, people say don't hitchhike. Well, this is what happens. Yeah, well, at least I was here.
So he did this on purpose.
Dude, that guy was fucking cooked out, man. Like, he's beyond howlay. Like, I don't even see any breath in him. You know what I'm saying?
Can I get your name and where you're from, if you don't mind?
I'm Kai.
Kai, can I get the spelling for it?
Straight out of Dogtown. Kai.
Kai. Do you have a last name?
No, bro. I don't have anything.
Where are you from originally? Are you from Fresno area?
Sophia, West Virginia.
No kidding. How old are you?
I can't call it.
Okay. What have you ever experienced anything like today? And what made you take the actions that you did?
That woman was in danger. He just finished what looked like at the time killing somebody. And if I hadn't done that, he would have killed more people. So he's dead. Good.
You ever experienced anything like that, Kai?
Well, this one time I was in an orchard and this fucking guy starts beating on this woman who he calls his. So I walked on over and I started smashing him in the head. You see all these teeth marks right here for the camera? Yeah, I started smashing him in the head and in the teeth, busted out all his teeth. The sheriffs, not the policy enforcers, can show up and start like they're like, yeah, so what happened? I mean, like, just give me any old name and just give me old birthday, whatever. Just yeah.
What happened today after the? You're obviously free now, but were you arrested? What was the process? What did they do to you when they came up? Obviously, they found out that you did the right thing, but the time that from the accident until now, where have you been?
Well, you started following I cleaned his motherfucking head wide open with a hatchet. He stood up like he was pulled right up, right? And like I'm like, bro, if you're fucking Jesus Christ, I'll be the Antichrist, man. Like that. And he starts following me off this way, so I figure I'll lure him away from the crowd. So I'm running off this way. I got a hatchet in one hand, my fucking this bag I'm carrying over with another hand. I start running off that way, and so a couple of the people who was bystanders to it came over and told me to stop. And I was like, why stop? And he was like, the cops are already on their way. I was like, is he back up and doing anything? And somebody said that he was like masturbating in front of this school or fucking whatever this place is right here. Yeah.
Were you questioned by police? Were you taken into custody? What happened? I mean, obviously.
I was questioned. I was put into the back of the sheriff's wagon. Wasn't the policies that fucking pulled I over? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I got put in the back of the sheriff's wagon. The sheriff was like, what happened here? Took down a statement. I told him everything I just told you, and fucking let me on out. Said I couldn't grab all this stuff until I had finished, like they had finished with something, you know what I mean? And like brought me back on over here so I could be in front of this thing, like the car right here. It's gnarly, man. Holy shit. It's like the biggest wave I've ever ridden in my life.
What's next for you, Kai?
Hopefully some surfing. If anybody's watching this somewhere else and they got a mini Mal that they could lend a guy with a wetsuit, I'd love to test out Mavericks.
Would you do it again?
Club him in the head with a hatchet? You know, if I could go back in time, I'd go back over to where I was at that recycling center and he said that he had raped that chick over in the Virgin Islands, because it doesn't matter where you at. You can fucking just spend a bunch of money and do whatever the fuck you want. You know, that's not right. If I could go back in time, I would have dabbed him up right there.
No, you're not. I mean, it doesn't seem like you have any concern for yourself. You're all about, I mean, doing the right thing and not even worrying about Kai first.
I don't have any family. Like, as far as anybody I grew up with is concerned, I'm already dead. So, whatever. It's all good.
Okay, so now let's watch this, because this guy, he's a really likable guy, right? Um, I mean, you look at the guy, he did something heroic. He's being interviewed, so obviously, you know, the cops believed the story, right? And we're all looking at him like, what a cool, positive dude, you know, like this guy's awesome. But then there's this.
Can I get spelling for it?
Straight out of Dogtown, K.I.
Known as Kai the Hitchhiker, the Canadian drifter. This is the TV interview that got him noticed in 2013. He was the hero, coming to the aid of a woman being assaulted.
What made you take the actions that you did?
That woman was in danger.
His notoriety led to an appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
What do people say to you when they see you?
They say, hey.
What's up, Forrest Chump?
Hey, how you doing? I'm Steven. Pleasure to meet you, Steven.
And this is Kai today. His appearance is much different. Notice the elaborate tattoo on the side of his face.
All right. My name is Kai.
KAI, straight out of Dogtown.
This interview is taking place in prison. He's a convicted killer, and this is the first time he's speaking out since his conviction.
This situation is hell.
How did he end up here? 3 months after he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel, Kai hitchhiked across the country and wound up in New York's Times Square, where he met 74-year-old lawyer Joseph Galfi. How did you meet this man, Joseph Galfi?
He walked up to me and said, "Hey, you look lost. Where are you headed?" I told him I'm going over to Jersey, and he gave me a ride over to his place.
He took the man up on his offer and spent 2 nights at his home. He claims he was drugged and then sexually assaulted. Then he said he fought back in self-defense.
I sat up and I punched him in the face. And he was over top of me, and he shoved me into the bed. I was trying to get him away from me. I couldn't get him away from me.
Kai fled to Philadelphia, where he was apprehended 4 days later. After the beating, did you realize how badly he was injured?
No.
Just thought I had to get out of there.
I just had to get out of there. When I woke up and he was over top of me, I panicked.
Did you know he was
I
dead?
didn't know that he was dead.
This man's ear was almost ripped off. His neck was fractured. His face was fractured.
The ear injury came from one horizontal kick from on my back. That ought to tell you I was on my back on the floor.
But the jury didn't believe he acted in self-defense. If this was self-defense, why didn't you call the police right then and there?
I'm an illegal immigrant. They're going to investigate.
Kai still insists he's innocent and says critical evidence that could have proved he was drugged was ignored and destroyed. He's filing an appeal.
In this case, the judge told the jury that the burden was on me to prove intoxication, and therefore self-defense, and therefore my innocence.
Who's the real you, right? Is it Kai the hitchhiker who we saw in this video, the guy who saved the day, the guy who came to the rescue, or is it Kai the murderer? Who's the real you?
Definitely never Kai the murderer. I've never murdered anyone.
In court, the judge called Kai a cunning and manipulative, cold-blooded killer and sentenced him to 57 years in prison for first-degree murder.
57 years in prison for first-degree murder. That's a light sentence, honestly. You know, we've all seen you know, we've seen cases, man, where people got way worse, man. So I mean, this to me is I stumbled on that by accident. Like I clicked on Kai the hitchhiker, and I remember that, and I was like, oh yeah, this is funny, because I was just fucking around on YouTube, and then I saw that Inside Edition clip, and I was like, holy shit, that fucking happened. So what's really interesting about that is the fact of the matter is, this guy, he's a hitchhiker, and known for it, and he's killed twice. Yeah. So is the judge right? Is the judge right in saying that he is a cunning and manipulative liar and murderer? Because I find that incredibly interesting. I think that this guy, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked into this yet. But it's funny. I think I had listened to I'm more of a fan than a creator, guys. So if you haven't noticed that already, so I look at creators who cover true crime cases and do it in a very cool way. And I saw this, and having just discovered Misery's channel, I was like, this seems like something that would be right up his alley, and I'd like to see him do. But not a big deal. I mean, I'll probably do it regardless, because I think it's very, very interesting. I'll talk about it to a certain extent. But that's incredible to me, because I went from going, fuck yeah, man, way to go, Kai. You know, we need more people like Kai. You know what I mean? Like, this guy did, you know, he came off like he did his due diligence and saved lives by killing someone. And then it turns out that he kills somebody again. and this time it was in self-defense in the dude's house. So it's, you know what I mean? And he admits to doing it. He just says it's self-defense. And you see this, and when you watch him talk, I me personally, when I watch him talk, I can't help but wonder, is he just a really, really good liar? Is he like another Ted Bundy? Did they stop a male Eileen Warnos uh you know, early enough, or not early enough, because 2 people died already. But did they save more lives by locking this guy up? I mean, right, Miss Jane, that is an excellent point, Miss Jane. He did not seem bothered by killing somebody with a hatchet, and here we are, as YouTubers and people who like to watch YouTube and like to watch funny videos and like to watch entertaining stuff on here. We see this guy go smash, 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 and we think it's the cutest and funniest thing in the world. And we fail to remember the fact that he actually nailed somebody in the head with the fucking hatchet. So we're so caught up by the glitz of how he delivered that, the description of what he did. We're it's misdirection, possibly, maybe, because I don't know. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's just a really unlucky guy. Maybe hitchhiking is as dangerous as it sounds, as it's made out to be, right? Maybe hitchhiking is you get put in bad situations, you put yourself in bad situations and possibly bad people. So, but 2 of them, I mean, I don't know. What's up, click, click, boom? It's right. It's quite possible, Stefani, that he is that he's a cold, calculated killer and just very, very good at lying about it. He could be just like Ted Bundy. I mean, Ted Bundy loved to talk, but he loved to somehow put the accountability on someone else. He would never take accountability for his actions. And he was a very, very manipulative and very, very calculated person. Ted Bundy was fascinating because he was, I mean, he even got the judge to like him. The judge wasn't buying his bullshit, but the judge liked him. The judge complimented Ted Bundy when he sentenced him and said that for someone who is not actually a lawyer, it's a shame, because you would have done very well at this if you weren't a murdering piece of shit. So yeah, this is so I think it would be really, really fun to explore that case and explore that person. I mean, because there he is on Jimmy Kimmel making appearances, and why is this guy? He had opportunities. He's. I mean, I bet you. Okay, look. Can you imagine that guy as a YouTuber? That guy would have millions of subscribers. He would be one of those top guys. Most definitely, he would be killing the YouTube game. No pun intended. He would be doing amazing, because this person is, as I was describing how I mean the word brilliant. This person was brilliant. He's brilliant. His personality is just shining. So it's interesting to me. It's very interesting to me to see him, and wonder, now that he's killed again, and now that he's been convicted to 57 years for first-degree murder. Did he get away with first-degree murder the first time? I mean, I, yeah, man. So yeah, I'm yeah. If Misery doesn't do that case, then I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm kind of deciding that right here and now. Because one way or the other, I want to. But I actually, I would love to see him spin his style on that, and his sense of humor. I think would be interesting. Uh, uh, but yeah, I mean, I will definitely be exploring this case even on my own, and then we'll see what happens. But one way or the other, you guys are gonna see me talk about this on YouTube for sure. Because yeah, it's wild to me to see that. This person is fascinating to me. But yeah, when you see him in that clip on Inside Edition being interviewed in prison, uh, it, see you see, Miss Jane, you're saying leave him in prison, but see, we haven't even explored we haven't even explored the ins and outs of the case yet. So how can you jump to that conclusion? Um, I was actually, yeah, I think you came in late, but I was discussing that earlier. I don't think, I mean, yeah, it's, does experience tell us, in following true crime that this person is probably full of shit? Yeah, I'll give you that. But the thing is, though, we have not explored the ins and outs of the case. So it would be impossible, literally impossible, to come to a conclusion right now that he belongs in prison. It's just impossible. Ah, thanks, Doodlebug. Okay, fair enough. Just a gut feeling. Okay. But you see where I'm coming from. And the reason why I'm not attacking you here. The reason why I'm explaining this now and I'm expressing this right now is because I actually, at the beginning of this broadcast, I went over how I felt like that was an issue, that a lot of people tend to do that. And it happens in Facebook groups mostly, and it's kind of irritating. And it's one of my pet peeves for sure. But I definitely hold on. What is this? These idiots said they don't like Misery talking about Chris Hansen stuff because of his past. They said that Andy Cruz Podge. I don't know anything about that, man. I like the Chris Hansen stuff. I think it's great. To me, let me be very honest about something here. Okay. I'm going to address this because at first I was a little apprehensive about even addressing this comment, but I'm gonna address this. Uh, I don't. When I look at this stuff, I talked about this earlier today too, or tonight. When I look at this platform as a form of entertainment, and I look at YouTube creators as entertainers. I see Misery as a creator and an entertainer. That's all I see him as. Um, I don't I don't know how else to say this. I don't give a fuck about his past. I don't give a fuck about his personal life. That's not to say that I don't care about him as a person, but I don't know the guy. He's a fucking YouTube creator. I'm a fucking YouTube creator. That's all I want people to see me as. Seriously, nothing else. So I don't give a fuck about anything about this guy's past. I know that when I watch his content, I enjoy it, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So I see a case, and I like the way that he covers true crime, and I think that it would be an enjoyable experience for us fans, kind of like requesting a band playing a song. Does that make sense? That's how I see it. If I like the way that band plays music, and I hear a song that I think that there's a song that I know that they would do a great job, I would say, hey man, you guys would fucking do great at covering that song, man. I would love to hear you guys do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And the reason why I see it that way is because I'm a realist, and uh, this is simply a platform for entertainment, man. You know, anybody who's obsessed with these people for what they're doing on their free time, there's something wrong with you. You know, I don't. It's none of my business. You know, I mean, if it turned out Michael Jackson had actually been a child molester, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Here's the thing: is I'm not gonna stop liking Thriller because of it. It's a good album. It's a great album. That's all there is to it, man. If he's a child molester, do I think he's a piece of shit? Sure, of course. But you know, until you convict somebody of something and prove it, then I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to think about that. I don't need to concern myself with things like that. What I care about is I think that it would be cool to see someone who I like their content cover a case that I think they would do a very entertaining job at doing. So that's all that is. And yeah, and the Chris Hansen thing, him doing the Chris Hansen thing, I don't know if he did that on purpose or not. If he did, then he's even more of a genius than anybody gives him credit for as a creator. But the cool thing about him is I enjoy the fact that he can bring humor into a very tragic and very real situation, and somehow he seems to make it okay to do that. He's not disrespectful to victims. But there's a weird thing. There's a weird thing that happens to us because we kind of still all feel a little weird about laughing about a situation that involved victims. Here's the genius about covering the Chris Hansen thing, though, and going over these Chris Hansen videos. The genius behind that is there's no victims. Think about that for a second. There's no victims. There's a decoy who this person is talking to. All they're doing is literally catching shitbag kitty fuckers. Yet there's no victim to mourn over or feel guilty about laughing about a situation because someone was victimized. So it's pretty fantastic to me. It's pretty fantastic to me that that I can watch something true crime related and laugh and not have a little voice in my head asking me, should I be laughing at this? Is it okay to laugh at this? Even though I always come to the conclusion that it is. Because like I said, I have yet to hear him be disrespectful to victims. So I like that. And the Chris Hansen thing is genius in that manner, and I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really enjoying that content. So that's just me as a fan of that channel, as a subscriber to that channel, and how I feel about the content on it. So yeah, that's so anybody who has a problem with it, I mean, well, don't fucking watch it. Watch something else. YouTube is huge. There's all kinds of shit to watch. Find something to watch. So yeah. But regarding this Kai the hitchhiker guy, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna definitely explore that. I think it would be fun to watch Misery do it, but I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with their channels. It would just be a fun request that if we're denied, I wouldn't think twice about it. And that's the only reason I brought it up. But regardless, I'm going to explore it, and I think it'll be fun. Oh, I haven't even been looking at the chat. If there's any trolls in here, just cut them. Don't don't ask questions. Don't try to reason with anybody. Just get rid of them. That's how we handle trolls here from now on. See, you're so sure about that, Miss Jane. You're so sure about that, but I'm not that quick to jump into I'm not that quick to jump to that conclusion. Because here's the thing. Also, there's the flip side to that coin, Miss Jane. Who of us don't have skeletons in our closet, right? You dig up anybody's past and put it out there, you're gonna find something that's not on the up and up. Something, depending on the magnitude, of course, but you're gonna find something. What's up, Trisha Callie? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I'm sorry, I'm just looking over the chat here. But yeah, and you can always email me. Absolutely. And see, look at this. I find this very fascinating as well. Stefani says, that you hope that he's not. Like, that's also a very interesting thing to not overlook. Is we really hope that we want this guy to be innocent. We want this guy to just be somebody who's got bad luck, who is just doing the best he could. He decided to have the guts to live a free existence, a truly free existence, free of material possessions, free of authority, just free of everything, and trying to be a cool person and meeting new people and getting along. This is the picture that's painted for us as far as Kai goes, and that's what makes him so interesting. And he's just got the personality of a movie star, and you're just like, man, and you're immediately drawn to this person. You're sucked into how charismatic he is, but you cannot overlook the fact that this man admittedly has killed 2 people. So I have to explore this. I have to find out what the deal is with this dude, because he's definitely a killer. So yeah, I mean, and yet nobody is afraid of this guy. See, okay, Deborah Barron, how do you know that? Do you know that because you've looked into the case? If you have, then cool. I'm not challenging you. I'm just but if you don't know that, then yes, I am challenging you because I was talking about things that we don't know anything about yet. Because like I said, I plan on exploring this and looking into the facts. If I can find the court transcripts for this case, uh yeah, man. I want to know what happened with Kai the hitchhiker, dude. Um yes, that girl, I was raised Catholic, as a matter of fact. Um, yeah, yeah, man. I think it's nice. I honestly genuinely think that it's nice. When I think that's a blessing. That shouldn't be something that somebody should be um criticized for. If somebody has the capability of making light of a subject without being disrespectful, um that's a gift. That's a gift that that person has. That shouldn't be criticized. um so that's why I like that channel so much right now. And mostly the chat, because the chat is like super chill, considering how supposedly controversial this guy supposedly is. But I don't I'm the guy that's just always drawn to the things that people find controversial for some reason, but I'm like, why is that controversial? I don't understand why you think that, why this would cause controversy. What's your problem? um so yeah, that's how I look at that stuff. Okay, so you're talking about Kai here, that women had a hard time getting rid of him over staying as welcome. Well, that's understandable. I mean, the guy is a homeless hitchhiker. So there was probably a part of him that really wanted some stability. There was probably a part of him that really wanted a home, and wanted to and wanted to set roots with a woman. um so I can see that. uh and 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 women just, I can also see women just seeing him as a good time, and then when he's no fun anymore, hey man, you got to go. So just pure charisma. I mean, but charisma is only going to get you so far. uh Charisma based on those circumstances can get expensive. And uh women don't want that. Women want you to at least uh you know toe the line and pull your own weight. Amanda, I agree with you. I think there's definitely a part of him that manipulates people for his own benefit, but I think that goes with the territory of not having any income or means of your own to survive. Your means to survive is what you can get from other people. When you're a hitchhiker, it's rides, it's food, it's a place to lay your head. It's anything you can get your hands on for survival. So I would think realistically, naturally, you're going to have an instinct to be manipulative and be uh, uh, self-serving. and being a young man, uh, being a young man also makes him horny. So he's gonna try to, you know, drop his seed anywhere he can go. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that he did choose that lifestyle. Um, so I'm not feeling sorry for the guy in any way. Not at all. And I'm not making excuses for him. I don't want to come off like that. He's definitely someone who should be held accountable for his actions, most definitely. But um it's what I'm saying, somebody's unlucky. I'm only what I'm doing is trying to understand the guy out loud. That's all I'm doing here. I'm not making excuses for the guy. Uh, you know, when I say that somebody's unlucky, I don't know if I don't know if that's the case. I'm wondering, because that's either the case. Either he's a cold-blooded killer who's killed twice, and the judge saw right through his bullshit the second time, and you know, or you know, and he's a great liar, or he uh is just this wonderful, bright, brilliant human being that we all are mesmerized by his personality, and uh has bad luck. I mean, you know, what's up, Bucky Buckaroo? Dallas, Texas. Horny with a hatchet. Yes, Miss Jane. Horny with a hatchet sounds about right. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna, just for my own personal benefit, I'm gonna look deeply into this case as much as I can. Hey, UC boss. But yeah, man, yeah. So it's funny, like I was it was really fun to me to it was really fun to me to play the first video that went viral, that got him so popular, and watch all of you just get totally into this guy who didn't know the follow-up, and then seeing him, like, that opens up a whole nother pattern of thought. um so yeah, I'm gonna have to really look into this. um and um the Finn, I'm talking about Kai the hitchhiker. I'm gonna, you know what, I'll go ahead and play that Inside Edition clip real quick. I have not seen that Red Raven Spirit, no. But I'm gonna replay that.
Behind him with a hatchet, smash, smash, smash.
He was a viral sensation.
I'm Kai,
Guy, can I get spelling for it?
straight out of Dogtown, Kai.
Known as Kai the Hitchhiker, the Canadian drifter. This is the TV
Hey,
interview
J.
that got him noticed in 2013. He was the hero, coming to the aid of a woman being assaulted.
What made you take the actions that you did?
That woman was in danger.
His notoriety led to an appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
What do people say to you when they see you?
They say, "Hey, you're Kai."
Hey, how you doing? Steven. Pleasure to meet you, Steven.
And this is Kai today. His appearance is much different. Notice the elaborate tattoo on the side of his face.
All right. My name is Kai. Kai, straight out of Dogtown.
This interview is taking place in prison. He's a convicted killer, and this is the first time he's speaking out since his conviction.
This situation is hell.
How did he end up here? 3 months after he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel, Kai hitchhiked across the country and wound up in New York's Times Square, where he met 74-year-old lawyer Joseph Galfi. How did you meet this man, Joseph Galfi?
He walked up to me and said, "Hey, you look lost. Where are you headed?" I told him I'm going over to Jersey, and he gave me a ride over to his place.
He took the man up on his offer and spent 2 nights at his home. He claims he was drugged and then sexually assaulted. Then he said he fought back in self-defense.
I sat up and I punched him in the face. And he was over top of me, and he shoved me into the bed. I was trying to get him away from me. I couldn't get him away from me.
Kai fled to Philadelphia, where he was apprehended 4 days later. After the beating, did you realize how badly he was injured?
No,
Just thought I had to get out of there.
I just had to get out of there. When I woke up and he was over top of me, I panicked.
Did you know he was
I
dead?
didn't know that he was dead.
This man's ear was almost ripped off. His neck was fractured. His face was fractured.
The ear injury came from one horizontal kick from on my back. That ought to tell you I was on my back on the floor.
But the jury didn't believe he acted in self-defense. If this was self-defense, why didn't you call the police right then and there?
I'm an illegal immigrant. They aren't going to investigate.
Kai still insists he's innocent and says evidence that could have proved he was drugged was ignored and destroyed. He's filing an appeal.
In this case, the judge told the jury that the burden was on me to prove intoxication, and therefore self-defense, and therefore my innocence.
Who's the real you, right? Is it who we saw in this video, the guy who saved the day, the guy who came to the rescue, or is it Kai the murderer? Who's the real you?
Definitely never Kai the murderer. I've never murdered anyone.
In court, the judge called Kai a cold-blooded killer. And 57 years in prison for first-degree murder.
I'm not, yeah, man. See, I'm genuinely on the fence on this so far. Obviously all I'm seeing is the Inside Edition clip. But I really want to know. I want to know. So I'm going to look into this a little bit deeper. And at some point you're definitely going to hear me talk about it. Yeah, man. That's really fascinating to me. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I really, really had fun, and I had a really nice time with you guys. And much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being cool here. I am totally crazy about my chat. So thank you guys for being awesome. Anyways, maybe I'll go on tomorrow. I don't know. But if not, I will see you next time and love you very much.